Hey, Team Happy and Fit, welcome to Tuesday night best practice call. If you can tell, I'm not in my office. I am honestly sitting on a dog bed right now, and I am at a Galentine's Day party. And if you don't know what that is, I didn't know what that was before this. It's just where a bunch of girls get together and celebrate each other. So I'm here with my friends, and so I literally have LaCroix and a koozie. I'm wearing like fun XOXO pants, and I even have my girls rule hat. But my point is, I am on this call. I'm running it. I'm not hosting it in the sense of sharing content, but I just need you to know something. These Tuesday nights are non-negotiable for me. So as this party came about to be, I said, hey, Shelly, to my friend, I just need you to know it's my team call. Would I be able to sneak into your bedroom and do this call? And she's like, yep, no problem. Can you guys hear me? I feel like my internet just went. Shoot. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me now? There we go.
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry, I think it's just the internet. So I'm going to keep my video off. I promise I'm right here. I'm not on Facebook. As we're on these calls, you're not distracted. You're totally plugged in. Thanks, Sarah. But I guess my point was this is a non-negotiable for me. So I just need you guys to see that these calls Tuesday night, no matter what, they're going to happen for me. So I make them happen. So I'm at a party and I'm here and I stepped away, and I'm just really excited to hear from Lindsay, Kim, and Lauren. They just went to NLC, New Leader Conference. Sarah, you remember that last year? It was amazing. We went to Los Angeles, Santa Monica, toured Beachbody Corporate. What this is it's for 1 star and above, and you get a special invite. Like, it is a special invite, and it's a smaller group of people. Summit is around 25,000 people. NLC is like 500. It is like way smaller, way more intimate, and you just get golden stuff. So what's really cool about this is that they actually don't record and release all the recordings or the speakers. People will record it and then post it on YouTube, which is great. But Beachbody itself doesn't unleash and release this information because it's special. And I think that's really awesome. Like, so you wouldn't be able to go on Beachbody and find these recorded calls, maybe parts of them, but not all of them. That's because what this is just very special. So what we get is Lauren, Lindsay, and Kim, who were specially invited to this conference. So they got to work out live with Autumn. I'm assuming they did an 80-day obsession workout. It was probably really hard. They got to get a picture with Carl, meet Jeff Hill, meet Michael Neiman, all these people you hear on the National Wake Up Call. They got to hear Melanie Mitro speak. They got to hear Bonnie Ingalls speak, and Kim Fitzpatrick, I believe that's her last name. And they just got all of this time to spend together and grow. So I'm so excited to hear from them. So please get out your notebooks, your pens, and just write down your notes. Your phone is not open. Facebook's not open. You're fully engaged, ready to rock. And Tori, your little dog is so cute. Oh my gosh. Like, I just was like, so cute. But let's go ahead and get started. Lindsay is going to get us kicked off. She's a 1-star diamond on our team, actually soon to be 2-star qualifying shortly. And I'm just really excited to hear her takeaways. She lives in Iowa, and she has a big vision with this business. She knows what she's doing, so I can't wait to hear your takeaways. Go ahead, sister.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? All right. So, like Julianne said, this is kind of like, I would call it like an amped up summit for like leader. It is definitely a little bit more higher level than what summit would be. And we talked about like various topics from personal development, customer service, how to rock Instagram. And so I'm going to kind of touch on some things that like my big takeaway. But we heard from top coaches and then Beachbody corporate team members, like Julianne was saying. So it was, yeah, totally worth it. Get to 1 star. This is like the best event ever. So kind of my big general theme is all about focus. And I think you guys probably all can relate that when you're really super focused on something, you get a lot of stuff done. But if you feel like you're being pulled in a million different directions and you just feel like you're spinning your wheels, you're never getting anywhere, like that was my big take home. And there was quite a few messages about that. So Jeff Hill, he started off out of the gates and he talked about a book called From Good to Great. And what's crazy is we actually have this book on our shelf. Brian had it, my husband, through college. He was a business admin major, and so we actually have it. And I haven't read it, but it's on my to-do list now. He talked about confronting the brutal facts. Are we focusing on the right things? And it really concentrated on, like, are you busy or are you focused in doing things that are moving the needle? And so it was really like, if you feel like you're constantly kind of trying to keep up and stuff, which is where I have felt the last year, looking at, like, what was I doing? What am I doing? Am I actually doing activities that are going to help me grow my business? He also talked about the culture of discipline and how stop doing lists are more important than start doing lists. I think it's really easy to kind of like add more and more things to your to-do list when really we have 4 vital behaviors. Those are what you need to be doing. And so there's a lot of busy work sometimes, and I get sidetracked by that stuff very easily. And so, like, again, that just kind of taking it all back together, like making sure you're being disciplined, and when you're doing your power hours or pocket power hours, that you're really staying focused on what activities you should be doing. So the next one that hit me really hard in the gut was Melanie Mitro talked about success and life balance. And I cried during this lesson because this is a thing that I've been battling like the whole year, feeling like my work has increased, like in terms of the number of hours, like my day job. And I'm getting up at 3:45 a.m. to do these crazy 80-day obsession workouts so I can eat beforehand. And I just feel like when I get home, I'm never able to just catch up, and, kids go to bed and then I'm ready for bed. So it's like we just never had downtime, and it's just been super busy. And so she talked about being super mindful about how you spend your time. And a few tips that she gave were, and she even told her own story that her and her husband actually went through some like hard marriage struggles because she was so like not so consumed, but she really wanted to push for a business, but she wasn't communicating very well with her spouse what she wanted from it, and maybe, respecting what he wanted to do and that kind of stuff. So she really hammered that home about making sure that you're communicating with your spouse. Let's say for me, like, I want to pick one night a week. This is Lauren's idea. Pick one night a week for like team building type stuff for my team. And then everything else, all the other nights are open for family night. And we stick to that very like strictly. So Melanie talked a lot about creating your vision. And I know Julianne's been talking about that a lot lately. And identifying your goals, but then also looking at them big picture. Will it fit into your family lifestyle? Can you accomplish it in the amount of time that you have set for yourself? And so it's sitting down with your significant other, with your family, and really deciding, what's a realistic timeline in order for you to accomplish your goals, but then also take into account your spouse's goals to make sure that you're not running over things. Because I was doing that as well. I wasn't really taking Brian's or my spouse's goals into consideration. And he's not the kind of guy to confront it where I'm like, I talk about stuff all the time. So one idea she gave, and she actually went through and showed us how to do it. She used her Google Calendar. So she literally blocks out her whole entire day, what she's going to be doing for her workout, for her personal business time. So things that she's not doing with her team, but more like, connecting with people, during her personal development. She sets that time aside, and then she sets teams time aside, she sets family time aside, and she literally blocks out her whole entire day. And so what I did the exact same thing. Like I said, I was getting up at 3:40. I'm getting up at 3:45 in the morning to get these to eat before I do my 80-day obsession. Well, I was doing coaching things, but it was kind of willy-nilly. It wasn't like I would just go in and do this and do that, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh crap, I got to drink my Energize and, got to get going. Whereas now I have my Google Calendar set up so that way it warns me at every 15 minutes that I need to move to a new task, one. So like right away in the morning, I start my Instagram conversations. I reach out to people. for 15 minutes. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And then the next 15 minutes, my alarm goes off, and then I'm checking in on my team page, and I'm checking in my challenge groups. And then I have an alarm 15 minutes later that says, drink your Energize. So I drink it and then go. So before I was just kind of whatever. Now everything is very scheduled. I also work on my 15-minute morning break at work. And so same kind of thing. I have that scheduled during my work day, what I'm going to do during that time. And then I also work during my 30-minute lunch, exact same thing. So I literally I break my power hour down into activities based on those time frames. And I've been doing it for 2 days. So, I mean, it's not like, I have a ton of data to tell you that it's working amazing, but I definitely feel like I accomplish a lot more and I can cross things off on my tracker. So that way I'm like, hey, I actually got something done today. So that's really, really helped me a lot. And one thing she really also recommended was setting unplug time every day. And so I have set mine from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. I have to put my phone down. And a trick for you, if you have kids, my kids love this. I told them they can put me in timeout if I'm on my phone, and they love it. So they're like, Mom, go to timeout. You're on your phone. So yeah, so just a trick. But it's really important. I felt like I was kind of chronic coaching, and I really want to be strict about my business hours. And so I feel like this has really helped me a lot in terms of kind of setting things up and making sure that I follow my Google Calendar. And nice thing about Google Calendar is you can share that with people as well. So like I can share my Google Calendar with my husband so that way he can look at it and see what kind of have coming up for the week. I'm trying to think what else here. One big thing also that she talked about in that one is that, so I talked a little bit about having personal business time versus like team business time. She said that it should be a ratio of 80% you should be doing your personal coaching things, and then 20% should be on your team. And so like I felt like I was getting more caught up in the team stuff, kind of managing things a little bit for everybody, which is what I like to do, but that wasn't helping my business move forward by concentrating on everybody else. So that's a really important takeaway too that she talked about was 80-20, kind of like our eating kind of thing. You want to make sure that you're focusing on your own personal business 80% of the time. And then the other 20% of the time when you're doing team stuff, make sure you're setting a time aside to the people that want to run with you. Make sure that your time is well invested, especially for those of you like myself. I work full-time outside the home. And so if I'm going to commit some time to helping somebody, they need to be like on their A game and ready to go because I don't have a lot of spare time. And so all those other people that maybe aren't as invested in the business, you can always recommend that they look up YouTube videos or look in their back office or hop on other team calls if they want a little bit more help. And once they start showing up a little more, then you can give them a little bit more one-on-one time. And the last one that I absolutely loved, I'm totally going to get my science nerd on. So the new medical doctor that we have, Dr. Luigi Grattan, he got up and talked about why Shakeology is like the best in class. Like he went through kind of the 5 major, what are you laughing at, Lauren? And he's attractive. He's super cute. So he talked about protein, and in terms of Shakeology, Beachbody really puts a lot of pride into the ingredients they put in Shakeology. And so, for example, he talked about like rice protein. Rice protein, there are not such good versions of that. Some of them have like heavy metals in them if they're not properly grown. And so Beachbody really takes a lot of time to test their rice protein and where they get it from, to make sure that it's the best and the healthiest that they can. Fats, they talk about omega-3, which is like fish and plants like flax and chia, and then omega-6, which is processed seed and vegetable oils like sunflower oil and corn oil. So these are essential fats that we have to eat in our diet in order to get them. Our body doesn't make them. But we tend to, especially in the United States, we tend to eat a little bit more fat than what we're supposed to, especially of the omega-6. And so Shakeology is specifically formulated to be a 1-to-1 ratio of omega-3 and omega-6s, which is what you want. The Western diet tends to be like, I think he said something like 20-to-1 in terms of omega-6, 20-to-1 of omega-3s. So we talked about that. And they talked about carbohydrates. So we know there's a lot of focus on that with a lot of different meal plan options out there relating to cutting out carbs. And he talked about how important it is to actually, you need carbohydrates in order for you to function. But he talked about the type that you get is really important, and that a lot of people sometimes might buck back at you and say, oh, it has 7 grams of sugar in it, I need, you know, less sugar than that. And he actually said that Shakeology has like the same amount of sugar as a third of a piece of fruit. So it's like an itty bitty little bit, and it has a low glycemic index. So that means when you eat it, your body digests it slowly. And that means that your blood sugar doesn't spike or drop as quickly. So it's more of like a steady increase and a steady decrease, instead of if you eat something like processed foods, you're going to get that high glycemic jump in terms of your blood sugar, and it's going to drop really fast. And that's when you get that crash where you're like, ugh, like feeling really sluggish. So Shako helps us not do that. And they talked about pro and prebiotics. So this is about digestive health. Everybody's giggling. So you know what this is about. So it's bacteria that's living in your gut, and it helps you go and stay regular. He talked very specifically about what bacteria strain it is that they use, and won't go into detail about it. We all know what it's about. But so that is all put in there specifically to keep your microbiome, or like your gut health, good. So that way you keep things moving correctly. And then last thing, he talks about phytonutrients, and that those help us de-stress. So he just really it was really, really good how he went into the science behind it. And he 100% stands behind the product. And he actually says he drinks 2 shakes a day. So he drinks, I think he said he drank one for breakfast and then one for an afternoon snack. So yeah, there you go.
That's amazing. And I laughed because I knew why everyone was smiling that knows Luigi. I was like, they're all smiling because they think he's cute. So I was laughing about that. Oh no, my internet. Lindsay, question for you. On your Google Calendar, is it overwhelming to see everything written down on your Google Calendar?
I actually found it to kind of be helpful. At first I was like, when am I going to squeeze time in? Like, when am I going to do this? But I think if you break it down into 15-minute pockets, it's not so bad. Like, I'm usually at work at 7 until 4-ish, and I have a half an hour commute. And so, you know, that, yeah, it looked really full at first, but.
For sure. Maddie asked that question, and I think, like, you guys, the biggest thing I think Lindsay is just trying to explain to you is that you cannot be a slave to your phone. In this business. I even got asked by a corporate mentor today, Julianne, can you please explain how you unplug? Like, that was their question. But the thing is, I said on this corporate call with a bunch of other leaders in this company, I said, I think what the problem is, a lot of coaches are using the excuse of unplug because they've been on their phone for a long time, but they actually didn't do any work. Like, they are doing the fun, sexy stuff, you guys. And then you're like, oh, got unplugged. I worked really hard. And I even think about this. I did a poll of like positive affirmations, like, I'm going to crush it today. I'm going to do this. And then under that I had, I'm going to send this many friend requests, and like the work. And the amount of people that clicked the positive affirmations versus the actual work was significantly different. And it bothered me because I was like, everyone's attracted to the easy, fun, build up, fist pumping, fluffy stuff, but they're not willing to do the work. And so when we're saying unplug, family time, things like that, that is so vital. We're not saying in order to rock this business, you need to be a slave to your phone. In fact, you'll never hear me say that. You will hear me say, like, the reason you should work this business is to be more present with your family. But you have to understand something. If you don't do the stuff that scares you in this business, like scrub the freaking toilets by inviting, and you overcomplicate it, you're coming from a place of like salesy. I don't want to be salesy and pushy. That's not what I'm saying when I say that. I'm saying being genuine, connect, and share your freaking heart with people. When you do that, you should freaking unplug. But then what's going to happen is when you do that continuously, you come to this vision of your life where you literally can be more present with the people that you love. So when Lindsay's marking out her calendar, she just told you 80-20. 80% of that, when she said personal business, it's not, man, I'm the best. I'm going to crush it today. All right, now it's time to go unplug. No, she's like, I'm sending out friend requests. I'm connecting with people. I'm adding people here and there, right? Like she's moving the needle in her business. And then she has this family time. Just kind of like my date nights will never be on Tuesday night. Not because I don't like date nights, not because I don't believe in them. It's team call night. All the other days in my week, that is whatever I want to do, right? So like you guys have to understand that there has to be some sort of sacrifice with this business and moving the needle, whether you're getting up at 3:45 a.m., which is beastly. I used to do that, Lindsay. I know that. And
Yeah.
then you make it happen. So like I just think that that was brilliant, Lindsay, is like what you're doing, you're moving the needle, and it's no wonder you guys, Beachbody doesn't guarantee you any kind of income. Like Lindsay, Lauren, and Kim, they are creating a life of freedom. Like it's building and building and building and building financially for them in this business because they have this vision and they get to work. Like that's so inspiring. So I want to be like fist pump, like, yeah, like I'm going to crush it today. But if you don't actually crush it, you're not going to get there. So just want to be transparent with that. Lindsay, thanks for sharing that. That was a question that a newer Emerald almost, right, Maddie, asked. And I think that's interesting and so good because you have to find a well-balanced. Do not be on your phone all freaking day, you guys. It's not, chronic coaching is not coaching. It's not being CEO. But like for me and Maddie, I have my paper calendar. I know Sarah, same thing. Like I'm a paper calendar person where I write it down. But I do a lot of other things electronically. Like you just have to find something that works for you. I make a checklist. That's how I work. Lindsay's going to work on the calendar. She shares it with her husband. I think it's brilliant. So, and Melanie Mincher does that as well. So Lindsay, thank you. You're so smart. I know that you need to go to bed. And so thanks for sharing. And I know that you'll have to hop off, but I appreciate your heart so much. I'm just going to, thank you. Lauren, let's go ahead and go with you, sister.
All right, awesome. First off, I just want to say, like, I loved that Lindsay's takeaways were on focus. And I just have to say this really quick because when we were leaving, we were in the airport and we stopped at a bookstore and we both got new PD books for the flight home. Her book was legit called Focus. And the book I picked up is, I'm going to tell you what it is in a little bit, but it was totally on my takeaway. And I just thought that was really cool. Because if you're struggling with something, I totally recommend you to pick up a book based on something you're struggling with. And that's just going to help you continue to grow. So my biggest takeaway, like I was just in awe. The whole experience is just incredible. But I think it's cool to be able to go really one step further. The whole time they're just like, whatever it is holding you back, you just have to jump and you just have to, you have to just believe and you just have to go for it and have that vision and just not let anything stop you. But the person that related to me the most was Kim Fitzpatrick. And I honestly, like, I had never really listened to any of her stuff before. And I was just wowed. Like, they always say, like, don't compare yourself to other coaches. I was inspired by her. I don't know as if I've ever heard someone have such a passion for the people that they're working with. And the way that she talked about it was just like, I could have cried. Like, I'm not kidding. So I'm just going to kind of go through some of the things that she said. And even looking through my notes today, I was just like, wow, like so many truth bombs in what she's saying here. And it's very challenger focused. So we all know that, like, you can sign people up, you can get them enrolled in with a challenge pack. But what good is that going to do if you aren't there to serve them? If you aren't there to help them through the process, then you aren't going to have retention with your customers and you are not going to build a solid business. And so, and she just truly, like, I'm a blue. And so I think I just like connected with this. Like, she truly leads with her heart. She leads with her clients. And I thought that was really professional. But she led with, this is how she approaches every day with her groups. She says, how can I serve you today? And I just think that's so powerful. Like, you're taking you off the table. You are there for them. Your job is to be there for them and to serve them. And you need to meet them where they're at. You need to give them love and belief. And we need to make their day better. One of the thing that stuck with me the most, and I said this quote so many times afterwards, is she said, you need to give a 5-star excellence in customer service. Like, gut check. If you were to rate your challenge groups right now, mine would probably be like a 3, probably. And just listening to that, I'm like, I want to go for 5. Like, I want to be irreplaceable. I want to create the magic, and I want my groups, I don't want there to ever be a time where my challengers are looking for a different coach to better serve them. So I just thought that was a great gut check. Let's see here. You cannot ask anyone to do what you aren't willing to do. So if you aren't drinking Shakeology, you cannot expect someone else to drink Shakeology. If you aren't doing the programs from start to finish, you can't expect anyone else that you're working with to do that either. Lead from the front. One of the things that Lindsay and I are working on right now for our team is we have a coach welcome email, but she was talking about having a new client packet. What to expect from you as their coach, just different tools and different things to help them through the process. And the cool thing is when you hear her talk about her groups, she's truly creating successful coaches from her groups. She's giving them all the tools that coaches would normally have. And I think it's really cool looking back, because last year my goal was recruit. A lot of the people that I recruited aren't coaching anymore. And the reason that they aren't coaching anymore is because they didn't have the love and passion Gosh, where is it? I'm so mad right now. I can't find what I was looking for. Pulse checks. So she manages an assisted living or nursing home type of place. And she, at that job, they do pulse checks to make sure that the people are living. And she like literally said it like that, like, haha, are you living? But really, like, are your challengers dying out on you? Like, you need to make sure that they are still with you, still showing up, still walking the walk, engaged in going through everything. So I love listening to her talk. Like, she just has a true passion for helping people change their lives, and it just really hit home for me, and I loved listening to her talk. But now for the PD part, and I was really excited. I was like geeking out over it because I'm a big Disney fan. Raise your hand if you love Disney. Awesome. Perfect. Well, I found a book at the airport called Be Our Guest, and it is talking about perfecting the art of customer service, because Walt Disney created magic with his customer service. Like, he had a full vision for where he wanted to go. He had a vision for what type of experience he wanted people to have. And I just started reading this book on the way home, but I have a couple of things from this book that I want to share. And I makes me wonder if Kim Fitzpatrick read this book, because like going back through my notes, I'm like, this just like really aligns perfectly. But the first thing is they give the definition of quality service. Quality service means exceeding your guests' expectations by paying attention to every detail of the delivery of your products and services. So you're exceeding their expectations. And so I just think that that's a really great thing to strive for when we're showing up for the people that we're helping. And then the other thing that really stuck with me, I'm just going to read this small little part. It said they were talking about letters that they get from people who had an experience at Disney. And they said they went on to use Disney as an example of notable experience stager. Most parents, they wrote, don't take their kids to Walt Disney just for an event itself, but it's part of their everyday family conversation for months and even years afterward. And it just made me reflect on my experience with Beachbody. I had such a great experience that, like, I'm going to be talking about this for the rest of my life. And I want the people that I'm working with right now to have that same experience. So that was my biggest takeaway. It is by Theodore Kinney. So if this sounds like something that you would like to take your challenge groups, take your customer service to the next level, this is a great option. So thanks for listening.
Yay! I'm so sorry my video can't be on right now. I'm sad about that. I'm all about the video. Lauren, what advice do you have to give to get challengers to connect of coaches that are struggling with getting challengers to, they've bought a challenge pack and trying to get them to run with that, but it seems like I'm dragging them. What do you do?
Right. Well, I think most importantly is right now I'm trying to make my challenge. So I'm always constantly saying, let's cheer each other on. I get them plugged in and they know that they get me for a full year if they bought the all access pass. And so I'm having conversations with them one-on-one through email, just checking in with them, seeing how they're doing. But my goal is to get them in the tracker app so that they are seeing everyone else post in there. You know, they're giving virtual high five. Even take it a step further, and like we do coach shout outs, I would do challenger shout outs in the team page. If you enroll a new customer, I would give them a shout out in your challenge group and say, hey, please help me welcome this new challenger. Here are a few of her goals. Let's cheer her on in the journey.
And I think too, like, if you feel like your group is a drag, everyone else in the group is gonna feel like it's a drag. So I think that's where it starts. And then also, anytime anyone doesn't do something, like I even think about being a leader and leading this team, where it's like if someone gets frustrated or stops or isn't, say, let's hitting Success Club. I always am like, it's a lack of clarity. Like, clarity breeds confidence. When you are clear about how to do something and why you should do something, then it gives you the confidence to do it. And so with your challenge groups, right, are you guys setting them up for success or setting them up for failure? I have a canned response I send every challenger as soon as they get a challenge group of send me your goals, send me your before and afters. And the reason I did that is because I was getting frustrated that none of my challengers were getting results. And I was like, it's my job to get people results. So they need to be accountable and send me their before and afters and all their measurements. All of this stuff is in our resources page, but then I also want to get them started right with the right program for them and teach them how to go through that. So I think that's vital. Or even, I'm sure, like doing a one-on-one call with a challenger would be a huge deal. That would be amazing to be able to do that with someone. So Lauren, thanks for sharing your heart. I appreciate you. You're amazing. I love you. Kim, let's go ahead and go to you, sister.
And I'm pretty sure I was just and just kind of talk about like their struggles and anything like that. And then really quick too, yesterday I just felt so convicted by like wanting to create this perfect experience for them, or this high quality experience. I did a video, by the way, in the Tracker app you can do a 3-minute video. I know not all of you use Tracker app, but I did a 3-minute video in there yesterday saying my job, I want to serve you. And I did a video just sharing my heart on it and just letting them know like I'm here for you, that kind of thing. So, but thank you.
So for all that, they still have the good stuff. I don't have any good stuff. I'm kidding. There's still so much amazing content. So it was an amazing whirlwind weekend. We got to see other Team Rockstar fitters. We got to hang out with new people. We got to meet amazing new people. We got to stand in really long lines for really good food. We just had a blast. So we also had what's called, they ended up calling it the NLC game show at the end of the night on Saturday, which was tons of fun to like, none of us got up on stage, but many of us got prizes anyway. Tons of swag. We were all nervous about having to take a skateboard home in our backpacks, which didn't happen to any of us, but lots of tons of fun, and it was fun. So there's a lot of great stuff. I just wanted to hit on like a couple things. I was literally they gave us these little notebooks, and literally gotta move my fingers so I don't lose my pages. This much of it is notes. Like I took so many notes from it, over half of it. So it was so much good stuff. So one of the couple things I wanted to hit on top of everything that they already talked about was the very beginning. We started out with Carl and Kim Carver, and they were talking about the increasers. And if you're in the 135 group, I highly recommend that you go watch the video. They told us like, we're taping just this section and we're going to put it in the 135 group. I'm not going to go over a lot of the information because you can go there, increasers, and that's increasing their income from last year. So it's a huge clump of people, but it's really not that many people apparently. So they're watching this group of coaches who went from 1,000 to in that span of 1 to 50,000, and then significantly increased their income over the year. So go watch that video there. They ran through a list of things that these people are doing consistently was the main thing. Consistently doing these things, not just once in a while or when I feel convicted, rah, 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 I came home from a conference and I'm just implementing like crazy for the first 3 days and then it dies off. No, like they stuck to it and they're consistent across their business. Consistent thing. That video, if you want to learn more about it too, I can share with you later, but about sharp goals and going after it and, getting, the 1 to 3, one person is helping 3 people and then helping 5 of their being success. That's 1, 3, 5. So hopefully you're in that group because you're going to Summit. Bonnie Engel was not necessarily my favorite speaker because I can't buy into Bonnie very well. And I'm sorry, it's being recorded as well. But she did have some good content. So one of the things she talked about was being a micro influencer. And one statistic that she threw out there that I thought was extremely interesting was that 80% of Americans buy things online, which wasn't surprising to me. But of the 80% of Americans that buy things online, most of them originated from an ad or an influencer on social media. Well, look at that. Who are micro influencers? Me seeking people out to talk about your product. We are all micro influencers. Everything is, especially if you're on Instagram, it's very picture based. There's the explore page, there's stories, there's video, there's live feeds. There's so many ways to reach people. And then she kind of just went through you tick? What are the things that differentiate you from other people? So I went back to the Jen Richardson National Wake Up Call the other day and went through there and used some of those links that she was talking about, created 30 new hashtags a day specifically to my 6 roles. So I went through and got 4 to 5 for Christian mom, mom, motherhood, school administrator, like all the retired athlete, like they're like the different pieces of who I am. I found those hashtags. And then those are the hashtags that I'm serving to. I'm going to those people's stories. I'm connecting with those people. I'm adding them. So really going through that. And then she talks extremely fast. Like you can't understand her all the time because she talks so fast. So I didn't get everything written down from her. But what she said was good. She shared her invite that she does on social media and things, but what she would say, but of course she was talking so fast, my hands couldn't move that quickly. And then I loved Melanie Mitro's stuff about success and life balance. She really I don't believe in having a purely balanced life. I believe that you have to make a choice. And so that was really kind of a gut check. That's her quote. That nothing's ever going to be completely perfect, but you have to decide every day on which ball you're going to let drop. And that reminded me of a PD book that I'd read a while ago by T.D. Jakes. And he talked about how everyone has roles in life, and very much is like life. Like you have these balls in the air that you're always juggling, and you just need to make sure that if you drop one, it's not the same one multiple days in a row. So like I can be, have mom up in the air and be busy, and then let mom drop one night, but I can't let mom drop a second night. Like if I drop another ball, it's else. So so follow the hashtags, do all that good stuff. Keeping balance. Then the other one that I really liked was, so we had these 3 main speakers, but then we also had all of the corporate head people as well. So this Arnold, I can never say Arnold's last name. He's the tall, black, skinny guy, if that helps you out. Naka or something like that. He was talking about stepping into a leadership role. And so a little bit of this is kind of more like focused at leaders specifically, but in my book, you're all leaders because you're one step ahead of somebody else. So whether you're on this team leading coaches because you have, multiple people under you, like those of us that went to NLC or even, almost diamond kind of thing, or if you are leading a group of challengers because you are the leader in any situation. So think about like these kind of things. He was talking about, you got to jump. Leadership requires growth. You're never going to make things happen if you're not growing yourself over time. So personal development is so important, that it's not going to happen overnight. And he showed that graphic that you see all the time that like success doesn't look like this. It looks like ever he approached his wife about joining because he knew she would really like it or she would really benefit her, and she was like, hell no. And then he signed her up anyway. And then she was mad, but then she did it and she was really happy. And so he talked about that kind of thing, how she had to grow her own, be her own confidence and do different things that way. But then there's like 3 pieces to how do you find or duplicate yourself. And so, one of the things that we're always kind of looking for, myself included, is like more people like me. I want to find more people that want to run. I feel like, I'm always just finding discount coaches, or, I'm only finding people that just are okay with being okay. And he said, how do you find people that want to run like you? And it's really about these 3 things. One is relationships. They're super important. And then when you get into those relationships, you need to grow those people within your relationships. So assigning roles to coaches, like, can you make this graphic? Can you do this piece of it? Like delegating some work, giving them pieces of what you do to see what they can handle, and then helping them, step up the bar a little bit more, or assigning things to challengers. I've done this before successfully as well. Actually, this is a perfect success for Lindsay and Lauren, me, right? Many of you may or know or don't know, like how I got started. I was a discount coach from February to July, and Lauren happened to go on maternity leave in July, or not maternity leave, honeymoon. She went on her honeymoon in July. And they asked, hey, would you take her 2 days that she's posting in the group? And I was like, yeah, I could do that. And then I was hooked. So like anytime that you can ask a discount coach even to like help you out in the group, help them experience what that is like. They don't have to do the whole thing, but just help them be a part of it. And then, or even challengers. I did this a while ago. I had a couple people that were thinking about coaching, and I was like, hey, I have all the content ready. Would you be interested in just posting it today and responding to it and see what you think? Like that's the only piece of coaching that you're not doing yet. And, one of them decided, yeah, I think I might do this. And another one was like, no. But it was a trial and error thing. It worked for them. Sometimes it works for others. And then he's really said it really embraced the one-on-one connection. The more you invest in other people, the more they'll eventually invest in you as well. And give to give, don't give to get, kind of mindset and heart with it. You have to have time. The second thing is you have to have time to run the business, reverse engineer your goals, and build a strategy to where you want to go. So if you have a goal of 2-star, reverse engineer that. What's that going to look like each month for the next year? What is the milestones that you have to hit? How much time do you have to give to that goal? Like Lindsay, and then is that goal attainable? Is that goal realistic for you? If you can only put 1 or 2 hours a week in, or 1 or 2 hours a day in, like that's a completely different scenario. So be thinking about that. And then he said, not only do you set like year-long goals or like what you want to achieve by the end of the year, but he said now you set quarter goals, and then you set monthly goals. So like you can achieve small wins along the way and stay encouraged to keep going. And then the third step was duplication, which is setting up team calls and discussing things, doing one-on-one with your contenders, your leaders, reassessing every quarter, how are things going, setting up, and I started setting up more one-on-one calls. I've been doing those with my leaders this last year as well. Creating vision with people. How many times have we heard the word vision lately, right? Like it's so important. People need to know where you're going if they're going to join you. I was listening to a Summer Tucker video, and I think I dropped it in the Diamond Dash group or whatever. It was like, you have to have your train. No one's going to get on your train if they don't know where they're going. No one's going to buy a ticket to your train if they have no idea where it's headed. So, you have to have for that vision for yourself and your challengers and your coaches. Squeeze every little bit of potential you can for people to squeeze potential out of themselves. Jumping into things is the way to go. It's never easy to do the jump. It's scary as hell to do the jump. Sometimes, especially if you're afraid of heights. Arnold is extremely afraid of heights, and he stood on stage and was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And he like pulled out his phone. He's like, what's on my screen right now? Not my screen, because I was no way I would do this. But what he did was he had a skydiving ticket like ready to go, and he was like, I'm ready to jump. Are you gonna be ready to jump? And then everyone like cheered whatever, and he was like, purchase. And like, so apparently he's going skydiving. But you have to be able to find something that's going to challenge you, not be afraid of it, but like be convicted in what you want to do. And intentions are not decisions. I wrote this down and starred it. Intentions are not decisions. Decisions are commitments that take massive action to achieve. So you can't just say, I want to be 10-star. Because what does that mean? You have to like put the action in behind it to get there. And then the last thing there's lots more I wrote down, but one of the things that I love about this company so much is the heart that is a part of all of this. Every single person, can I say that again? Yes. I'll find it in my notes again. Intentions are not decisions. Decisions are commitments that take massive action to achieve. So you have to decisions are commitments that take massive action to achieve. Yep. And so one of the things I love about this company so much is the heart that comes behind everything that they do. And the whole conference, Jeff Hill kicked it off at the very beginning with the good to great thing, but also this one word concept. And if our teachers that are one of our elementaries that are doing the one word initiative, and I think some of our coaches on our team have been doing it too, but like mine's kind of washing off. I actually rewrote mine yesterday because it was coming off and I need to do it again. But it's, thinking about the one word, all the speakers shared one word that meant what Beachbody meant to them, or what this journey's meant to them, or what they were able to achieve, or what it, this like kind of life changing. And like some of them stood up there and cried about their word. Some of them got insanely passionate about what their word was. And then Carl kind of like does what Carl does and like crashes the party. And he wasn't supposed to come out at the end, but he did. And he shared actually a story from the previous night. He said he was driving home and he was talking to his daughter on the phone and she was struggling with something. And he said that he kind of walked her through it, and like what he told us what she did is all about vision and always being the vision's always going to change, but you always got to be there. It's always going to be to get people results. That's what his vision is. That's what the ultimate goal is about. But what his daughter was struggling with, he said, when I get home, I'll be there. And he does the what's her name? Gabby Bernstein, I think is her name. The insecurity detox, whatever. Well, she has these cards, whatever. I recognize that I have chosen fear and I choose again. I choose love was the card that he pulled out, and it fit the situation completely perfectly. And so she just like reframed her thoughts in her mind, and the situation was better for his universe is back. Yep, that was another one. And so like that card fit well. Well, then he kind of just totally floated all into which I didn't realize that's what he told us the story. When you go into Beachbody headquarters, there's this hallway that kind of is the back side bright hallway that goes between that and the upstairs, like the back hall, the stairwell. And in that white hallway, there's no like empty space on any of the walls at corporate, but in that hallway specifically is Carl's hallway. And he uses a marker or a paintbrush or whatever the heck he's got handy, and he writes inspirational quotes on all of the walls everywhere. And one of them that I didn't necessarily see because I didn't get to that section of the hallway, but by the door when you come in, he has this hashtag IDTTTSOL, which stands for I dedicate this to the service of love. And he told us that every day when he comes into work, he touches that hashtag and he says those words aloud. I dedicate this service to love. Every time he gets on stage to go speak to any group of people, he says that mantra aloud. I dedicate this service to love, because he's like, I don't ever have anything written. I don't have anything like ever like completely scripted. Like it's usually from the cuff. And he's like, but whatever I'm going to say, it comes from love, because this business isn't about selling challenge packs. This business isn't about points. This business isn't about, making a ton of money. He's like, though I wish you would. He's like, it's about serving people like Kim had talked about. It's the serving, and getting results. It's about improving your life. It's about being happy and healthy and living a fulfilling life. And so he's like, regardless of what you do, hundreds of thousands of people who, it's really about getting hundreds of thousands of people who love themselves just a little bit more because a coach cared, and because a coach had heart, and because a coach had heart and love inside of them instead of fear to reach out and help somebody. So I think he spoke for like 11 minutes. And I think it was probably the most powerful 11 minutes of the entire weekend, like for me specifically. And so, he wants us to be rich in life, in family, in income, in relationships, in heart, in love, and everything else. And so I feel extremely honored to be working for a company that is led by a man like that. And he's super humble. he doesn't have his name on a plate. He has a reserved parking spot because he's the CEO, not because he wants it, but because they make it there for him. He says, I'd park anywhere else, but and he doesn't want his name on it. So he actually has goals that he puts there. So like, they showed us a picture of his nameplate, just says 25,000 people to Summit. 2018. And so like, that's his goal. And that's what he drives in and looks at. This first thing he gets to work every day. So I just, happiness is not about money. It comes from service, and that all comes from the heart, which comes from love. And so those are kind of the last few things I wrote on a notebook before we got to Jeff Hill, and he closed it out with some amazing John Maxwell stuff. But that's what I got for you. And it was just so powerful.
Yay. NLC, you guys, is vital. So thanks for being on this call.